Hello, everybody. Let me pop out my chat and put it over here. And by now, y'all know the routine. I gotta get my screens all messed around there. And okay, chat rules. Only two. Please be over the age of 17, and please always be kind to one another. And there we go. Hello, Mona. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Let's see, bring up camera controls and maybe see if I can't A, get rid of that autofocus, and B, make myself a little warmer by getting rid of that white balance. Whoops. How is everybody? It is Sunday. It is gorgeous. Hello, Kenny. Hello, hello. Hello, Barbara Zenger and Risa and Edna and Shara. Hello, my dear. Oh no, so you're on your I'm not, wait. Computer malfunctioning, so you're on your phone. Okay, got it. Daryl Lynn, hello. And everybody, Shara, I don't know how many of you have ever seen these, and CB, but Shara has a new channel, and she has begun a new hobby that is actually, I think it's a little creepy cool, but it's cool. Have you seen those realistic baby dolls? I mean, the ones that, for everything else, you'd swear that they were breathing. They're amazing. It's amazing artwork to begin with. The airbrushing techniques that they use on these things to get them to look that way. But yeah, so she's got a new channel that's all about that hobby, and it's doing really well. So if you have any interest at all in that, be sure to look her up. It is called, what is the name of your channel, Shara? It's called Reborn Living Dolls? No, something about that, but that's what they are. Anyway. Goodness gracious. Hello, CB. I think I said hello. And all of that, not airbrushing, hand painted, reborn living dolls. Yes, that's what they are. But the name of your channel is something else, isn't it? Anyway, it's very cool. You would, the reason why I say I think it's kind of creepy cool is because I've watched a few of the videos of yours and other people's, and the pretense that the things are real is just a little too close to home for me to be comfortable with. But that's just me. I mean, I never played with dolls as a kid, so I really don't have a feel for that. But yeah, it just strikes me as being a little bit creepy cool, but cool nonetheless. And absolutely, like I said, from an artist standpoint, to be able to create a baby doll that feels, looks, is the right size, is the right weight, with the weight all distributed right where it's supposed to be, and the skin that looks real. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. And oh, Mona, well, it was better. I can tell you it was better. Then we had a couple of days of rain, and now we're having about a high of in the 50s, which of course is going to bring up the moles again. But most of last week, when it was really cold, I breathed like a champ. I didn't need any rescuing or any inhalers or any treatments or anything like that. But yeah, it just at this time of year until full on freezing starts hitting, it's like this. When the freeze hits and kills off this year's mold spores, then I'll be okay. That, and of course I could quit smoking, which would probably help about 90% of the battle most of the time. Hello, Fern. Yeah, her channel is doing really well. And like I say, it's just my personal opinion that it's creepy cool. Other people might feel differently about it. I wanted to revisit this one that we started last week because, one, I'm not too happy with the color depth at this particular point in time, and I want to fix it. But I want to see that I want you guys to see me fix it. And then I also wanted to talk about, the fact that it's nowhere near done. This is just a first layer. And so I kind of want to, if it's okay, maybe over the holiday season, we can go over this one a little bit. But before I do that, I do want to say that y'all know that I've been working on a new book for Sue Curry, and we did finally finish it, and here it is. Now, Sue, of course, does color her own cover art, and so she was responsible for the selection, but this is her book. The series of 4 books. It's actually 3 books plus 1. But there's Sing, Color, and Praise the Lord, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And then there's Windows on God's World, which is the 4th sort of standalone book. But from a Christian standpoint, they're really beautiful books. And so I just wanted to show you. Now I'm going to do an independent flip through on this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it right this very second. But as you can see, we structure it just like we've always done my books. Now, if you do buy this book, you will notice that it is copyrighted to me personally. I have purchased all of Sue's copyrights from her, or I shouldn't say I've purchased them, but I have been gifted them, and I tried to stop her, but she won't. So I'm just going to accept a gift as a blessing and go from there. But there is, of course, the book belongs to page, and then there are. I mean, she's really sort of outdone herself this time with with how well drawn everything is. That a mighty fortress is our God. Now this is based upon church hymns and other songs of praise, and there's cute and whimsical ones like "Keep on the Sunny Side," and then there's also sort of deeper ones like "When We All Get to Heaven." And the "I Love to Tell the Story," and "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus," "Lily of the Valley." I love her stained work on this. Her stained glass work on this is just, oh my goodness, amazing. Now, she did admit that she drew half of it and then flipped, did the mirror flip on it. So I think it's very cool, but that's why it's perfect. And then "Since Jesus Came Into My Life," it's just, it does have, as do all of her books, it's got sample pages of her other books, her book series, Memory Lane, which was about Nana and papa, who are a grandmother and a grandfather, who live on a country farm, and they have grandchildren who come and stay with them. And so that the focus was on the kids and the lessons that they learn living on the farm for the summertime. So, responsibility and stuff like that. And so she is inspired by these themes and then draws her books um, accordingly. And then there's the one standalone book, which was called Off the Page, which was just adorable things that she's drawn, fish and, other stuff like that. But this one is from Sing, Color, and Praise the Lord, Volume 1. And this one is Stand Up for Jesus. And this one is Peace in the Valley, which is from Volume 2. So, yes, I know a lot of people do. And yeah, I am not one to judge other people's faith. I believe that everybody should be free to believe as they do. My only objection to most religion is when they try and force it down other people's throats, But as long as, you want to believe what you want to believe, go for it. Now, each of these hymns, I should say, is, she really did a lot of research. And so the origin of the hymn, who wrote it, what it started out as, what it was used for. Was it a poem? Was it part of was it part of a sermon? Was it was there a story that went along with it? That kind of thing. I'm bound for the glory land, and all of that. The one about Michael, row your boat ashore, a popular hymn, and it's she became immersed in the story of the Gullah people, former slaves who lived, worked, and finally found their freedom on beautiful St. Helena, one of the sea islands of South Carolina. And so, Michael, row the boat ashore is an African American spiritual that was sung by those former slaves of St. Helena, whose owners had fled the island before the Union Navy arrived to enforce a blockade. So, just very, very cool. And a lot of information. Of course, Sue is the wife of a minister. She holds a jurisprudence degree herself, or not theological degree herself. And so, this is all interesting stuff for her. And this is, of course, the list of her books. So like I said, I will do a flip through of this, but you can see she has done some beautiful work in coloring some of these. I am especially impressed with this one. Of course, I love the color, and it is she does this with markers, which just kills me, just slays me that she can do this with markers. And I watch her and study her techniques and all of that, because she uses she saves her faded markers, the ones that are dying, and that way she can do these perfect pastel blends and shades out into these lighter lighter colors, and it's really just amazing. And there's that. See, it's a color combo that I don't particularly care for. This pink and yellow, or this fuchsia and yellow, but here it actually works. It really works. So I'm going to do a complete flip through on that as a standalone video, and I'll do that as soon as I'm done recording today. So let's get without further ado. Is Emily, by any chance, is Emily Illustrator here? Is she might be watching? Or I thought of her today as I was out of coffee, but I have a fresh box of tea, of 100 tea bags. And knowing I did not have time to properly make a pot of tea before the show, I just threw a couple of tea bags in the coffee pot and hit a empty water in it. And I thought my stepmother would just have a fit if she saw me make tea that way. And of course that brought up a conversation that we'd had in Emily's stream one night about the proper way of making tea. Um, so, and Emily, of course, makes hers in the microwave. And I was like, along with all of the English people and all of the Canadians who would go, no, you can't make tea in the microwave. Okay, so let's talk about making sure that that we have got some good or much better color depth here. Once again, this was a first coat. And I think that as a general rule, using a first coat of Inktense to just do what Sammy calls color map is a really good practice because it gives you an idea of what you're going to get and maybe enhancements that you might want to make to it. But it also, you're not so committed that you can't change it out for something a little bit different if you want to, just sort of slightly. She uses a proper tea kettle now. Somebody must have sent her one. uh, Slightly, it really does make a much better pot of tea if you do it right. The tea just tastes completely different because tea can be very bitter if you don't do it quite right. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Okay, the the partridge that I saw the pictures of also had like a black. Its little who'd you call it was black up here, along with maybe some other color feathers, but primarily black. But it also had this black sort of V thing going on right here that looked like a kind of like a necklace. And so I wanted to address that as well. Its body was pale, but it had this, it had this black thing. And so I want to replicate that. And I want to put those details in before I start to darken the whole thing, darken the wings out and all of that. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this is charcoal gray, which is not quite the color that I want. That's the outliner, and that certainly isn't the color that I want. This is the ink black, and this is probably going to do it. But I also want to not get so dark with this that I lose out on so maybe that one down there. And I am coloring I am actually taking liberties with the lines just a little bit. just to sort of get this in where I want it. And you can do that. Absolutely no reason why you can't. Okay. So if you do that, now you do want to keep that very tight. So I would just do it as a separate entity and let it dry so it stays there. Then you can come in later and do color around it. That way you're not going to be moving your ink tints around. And this is just a vision. Just because I saw a picture of, how a partridge looks, and they have this, a lot of the different breeds have this sort of, coloring. Hi, Lulu, and hello, Kathy Colson, and hello, Kathy Nichols, and my goodness, thank you everybody for being here on a Sunday afternoon. Okay, so now that gives me a little bit better idea of, where now I can, because I want the body of the bird to be more of a pale. I'm looking for a paper towel here. I don't have a paper towel, so we'll just use this little piece of tissue. That'll work. Okay, now I do have, underneath, I do have my absorbent it's not, obviously, it's not really bleeding through, but that's the marker that you see where we did the skin and stuff with the marker. That's the only thing that bled through so far. Otherwise, the Inktense does not bleed through. But about the time that I say that and somebody relies on it, it will. So I don't want people to rely on that. All right, this is the white. Now I'm just laying down a little bit of the white, not a lot, and you can't really see it, I know. And do I need to zoom you down a little more? Or are you good right there for right this very second? Because I'm doing this sort of wider space, so I wanted to leave it up there, but I also want to make sure that you're in focus. Yeah, only if you get it too wet, it'll buckle, but otherwise, I've never been able to get Inktense to bleed through anything. It just sits on the surface. It doesn't even really bleed through my, my Amazon paper. So just adding that white in there just to make sure that it's in there. And then I can add my, this is just the tan. I'm just coming down around in the dark spots. I'm going to be able to add more later if I want to. Remember that we're just Just want to leave a little highlighted area in there. So like a crescent where it's catching the light. Okay. Hi, Katrina. How are you? And oh my goodness, it's so nice to see everybody. And how is everyone doing? How was your week? How are you? Are you, are you in an area where you have been asked anew to stay at home and do all of that, or are you in an area that's doing pretty well and acting fairly normal? Okay. So I'm going to concentrate on just doing the outsides first and then tap up a little bit and come to the inside. And that see how that it colors it, but it leaves it just that little bit lighter. And that is something that when you work with Inktense enough, you will get a feel for. You get a feel for what it'll do, and where exactly how far it will spread. It'll spread different amounts on different paper as well. So you kind of have to play with it, maybe off in a corner until you sort of figure out what it is that it's going to do when you're doing it at home. But for the purpose of demonstration, of course, I usually pick the most prominent spot to do it because I want you guys to be able to see it. And if we make a mistake, then we can see easily how to fix it. So like for instance, I would probably go just a little bit darker up here. That highlight comes down just a little too far. Now when that dries, it'll be very much lighter than this. And there are going to be much more contrasting colors in this. So, right now it might be looking like a little bit of unexciting colors, but it really won't be by the time we're done. For one thing, there's going to be a pink puppy background going behind this thing. So, pink puppy, you say? Oh my gosh. Yes, a pink puppy background. Wait for it. All right. Let's give her some eyes because right now she's like looking a little freaky. Maybe she needs some. Maybe she needs some. Oh, oh, oh. All right, let's see. All right, Inktense. There it is. Okay, our choices are she could have some nice light lavender eyes, right? We could give her blue eyes. We could give her iris blue eyes. We could make her eyes apple green. But I think I want her to have iris blue eyes. I don't know why. I just think that blue eyes would be the right choice for our little girl here. So I'm going to give her blue eyes to begin with. All right. Then okay, so she's got blue eyes to begin with. And then we're going to choose like a peacock. Oh, wait, yeah, I want the peacock blue. Yep. Okay. I'm just going to put that on the very tip of this. Now come around in the deepest part. Okay. Just a little bit. And add some darker blue in there. All right. And there we go. That's a little bit better. I don't know. I can't. For some reason, I'm not getting good reflection on that. Hey. There we go. That's a little bit better. I've got a stark white piece of paper against a white light, which actually the reflected light really, it's like it acts a little like a beam. I learned that from a photographer. He's like, you don't need to invest in those lights. Just get you a white piece of paper and a reflective light, and you'll be fine. Okay. So there we have pretty blue eyes. There's pretty blue eyes. And we can do like sparkly lashes if we want. We could give her some lovely brown eyeshadow if we wanted. Or let's see, let's play a little. Let's play just a little bit. I want the scarlet pink. That's what I want. No, is that it? No, I want the cherry. Sorry. Cherry. Okay. Oh, hang on. I gotta make sure that brush is really clean. All that blue is gone. Okay. Now, when that dries, it'll be very pale. It will be very, very pale. And, oh, hang on. Sorry. This is the part that I really love. All right, now, take a little, let's see. I need the Payne's gray. That's the natural gray. There's the Payne's gray. Now, I want this to be very, very subtle. So I'm going to go one little blurby. Because you know that you have to add a little gray up there to give the eyes a little bit of depth. Thank you. Thank you, Katrina. And let's see here. Hopefully when those eyes dry, you'll see that there's a difference between the blues. All right, so she needs a little bit of, and I actually kind of want it to be purple, but I know it shouldn't be. But I do want it to be sort of that color. Wait, which one is that? Of course, that would have to be a combination of the browns and the. I'm going to go with the saddle brown. Oops, hang on. Pardon me while I reach in. Still wearing my favorite jacket. What can I tell you? It's always cold in the house. Hello. Saddle brown. There it is. Okay, so I want just a little bit. Just a little bit of eyeshadow. Saddle brown eyeshadow. Dusty purple, yeah. Actually, dusty purple would be perfect. Yeah, you're right, Shara. Let's try a little bit over that brown. Ooh, too much. Too much and not enough alert. Yep, that's it. That was actually perfect. Look at that. That's perfect. Oh my goodness. I'm loving it. Okay, so we've done that. Now we've got to do the. Now I've got to do the little. What did you call it here? See if I can try something a little bit fancy dancy. And see if I can get this to come out the way I want it to. Excuse me. The beach green, is that the right one? No. It's going to be the vivid green. Sorry, I want the vivid green. No, what is that? Let's see, apple green. Boy, you can tell one of my favorite colors. A, it's the shortest pencil, and B, I've about worn off the name or the gold on the name label. There's the vivid green. There it is. Is that it? No, that's the teal green. Where's the vivid green? There it is. All right. This is what I want. I want the vivid green. See what I mean? What I'm doing here? because black in its blackest state throws green. So when you look at a crow and it's black and it's green. Emerald, like a dark emerald green. With its little sheen. So we'll see if we can't try and emulate that. Okay, and then go with the brown. Around that side. And the, oops. you know what's happening here. Because I've got into this hole. Wait. And now we'll go back to the sun brown. Is that right? Yes. I just want this whole side to be just a little bit darker. Excuse me. I also, Mona, had not been using my voice. I mean, literally at all. The last time I talked out loud was the last stream. So that also affects my breathing when I first start, because it's like my vocal cords don't know how to use the air. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm liking that. Let's see how we do. I should probably have added some blue as well, but I think I can always add a little blue later on. I think the key with this is to not, don't back and forth it, just go one direction. Make sure that it's wet, which is going to activate the, it's a little bit big, but that might work. Which is going to activate the ink tints, but you don't want to blend these too much together. The green and the black. So I have been watching some of the gorgeous holiday cards that are done with watercolors. So I'm going to do, thinking of doing a show on that if you guys want. I think I did a couple of those last year where we just sort of painted some cute little cards based upon the lessons that I'd learned watching such folks as Ellen Crimmy Trent and um, Maramy and oh gosh, I don't know, some of the other ones that I watched that are all in the playlists from last time. Okay, so there's our all right, there's the start. Obviously, it needs a little bit of tweaking, but so we've got our black head and we've got our V and we've got our little made up face and our dress. So let's see how we're doing so far. Our little birdie is looking pretty good. All right, so it's pretty good so far. Now, let's try. I hope that you guys are enjoying this because I got to tell you what, I am having a ball. I mean, I really am. I love to do this. And so, you know, to me, it's like treat time when I get to come on and make. I just wish I had more discipline to, you know, make more videos. But I also can hardly find the same level of enthusiasm for it when you're not here. You know, when it's just me in the room and the camera. It's like I go, oh, okay, yeah. All right, so now I want to. I just want to see what adding just a ball of sort of color right here does to these. I think it just will add a little bit more just a little bit more visual interest. The pears were looking a little bleh, you know, a little too yellow. I want the pears to look a little more yummy, and maybe add a little bit more of the. Oops, that's hard to see because the pencil gets in the way, doesn't it? The pencil shadow. And just sort of deepen up those colors, make them just a little bit more rich. They're going to look that way right now because they are because they're wet, so they're going to look a little bit darker. All right, now let's talk about because so far we did the way that we did this was we used the apple green very, very lightly, sort of all over this tree branch, just like we did right here. You can see it. And then I don't remember what I used for I remember we had to experiment to get it over here. But it was was either the tan or the saddle brown or some color like that along the outsides. And what that did is that gave us sort of this silvery glow inside the tree. And that's just exactly what I want. Exactly what I wanted, but it's only half the job because now we still have more darkness to add around the outer edges. And so we want to do that with yet a little bit more of a brown tone. Actually, I think it was the saddle brown that I used, or the tan, one of the two. I think the tan was. No, I think I used the tan. All right, so now I want to try the willow, which is slightly darker. But I just want to make sure that that is what I want to do. Because if I go oak, I don't want to go oak because that's the wrong color. Because pear trees have that sort of silvery shimmer, and I don't want to lose that. So I'm going to go with the willow. And wait, I'm confused. Easily done. There it is. And let's see if this is what I want. Let's pick an inconspicuous spot like this one. Now I'm laying down a fair amount of pigment, right? Actually, quite a bit. Now, also, you do not have to activate ink tints with water. I've seen people who color with ink tints who will put the last layer on and then never activate it. I am not totally comfortable with that because I always worry about, well, what if water gets dumped on it? It's gonna activate all over the place, and that would be awful. So I prefer to activate it and make sure that it is permanently set down wherever that is. So that may not be the right color, but it may not be wrong. And so I want to put a little bit down there and let that dry, see how it looks, and then we'll move on and do some green leaves while it's drying. So now I do want these to be, I don't want them to be leaf green. I want them to be in the beach green family, which is this one here. All right, so this is the beach green right here. And these of course are the yellow greens, which are your typical fern, your leaf green, your spring green, and all of that. But if I go to the beach green, it's the one that starts to tip into the blue shades. So there's, when you think about your green family, green is a combination of blue and yellow always. So the way you make different tones of green is by how much blue and how much yellow. And then, of course, other shades that you can add in, generally browns, which are going to tone them up or down. And, or into the olive or not. If you take black and add yellow, oftentimes you get olive, like an olivey color. So, when you're working with your greens, you have to first decide yellow or blue-green. So in this case, I want to go blue-green, which is the beach, which is going to pull me also into the probably the Ionian for my dark, the beach for my mid-tone, and the hookers for my lights. Yeah, I think so. All right, so we'll go with the beach. And that's the iron. I don't want the iron. I want the Ionian. That's the mallard. Love the mallard green. Actually, the hooker's green. The mallard green is not the right color. Okay, so we'll wait. Not the Ionian, not the Ionian, the iron. All right. Wait, no. It's starting to tip. The iron is all the way there. The Ionian is technically green. I don't know. Let's go to the beach. We'll just go with the beach for right now. Let's go with the beach and the hookers. This is the hookers. Okay. All right. So now, we'll go with the beach and maybe the hookers. Let's see. We'll do a few leaves and see how it comes out. See if we like that color combination or not. We could leave a few yellow as well, or we can add some darker, maybe the iron. I think I will go with the iron. Let's go with the iron and say, go with that side with the iron, and this side with the beach. And we'll try different ways of coloring them in to see if there's any that sort of strike our fancy. Like, let's leave a little bit of a highlight right there in that one. And hi, Jill. Okay, you're lurking today? Okay. Hi, Corolla. And hello, everybody. Rain, Robin, Robin Rain. See how we like that? Oh, yeah, I like that much better. Okay, so the iron green is definitely in. Definitely in. Okay, so add a little iron green down here. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's a winner. That is definitely a winner. Okay, so we've settled on our colors for our leaves, which are the iron green, the hooker's green, and the beach green. Okay, and so anything that would be away from your light source is the darkest. So it's going to be the furthest away from your light source is where the dark goes. And then your beach green is closer, and so it's lighter. So you can do that with layers. You can do it with contrasting colors. You can do it with color depth. You can do it with a lot of different things to make a object appear like it is got reflected light on it. Okay, it's just it just depends upon how you view what you're doing and what it is that you want. So generally, objects that are bunched up, where like a leaf will get a little more concentrated down there at the bottom. And then when you go up into the wider part of the leaf, it's usually a little bit lighter. And then oftentimes out at the tip, it is the lightest of all. That's like new spring growth. So you love hearing my internal monologues. That's funny. Yeah, it's yeah, I sit here and solve the problems of the world, trust me. Um, there's only one pesky one I've never been able to get rid of. I've been trying for 4 years. Sorry. Every time I think I've got it licked, it gets away. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that color of 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 green for that. And I think that we're going to end up. I do think that I like the willow as a as the next sort of subtleness here. And not everywhere, not on every side of the tree, just on the objects that are furthest away, or that would be bare, like crooks, where the crook of the where the tissue of the tree would be of greatest density at the particular moment, would be like where it's growing. And because all the stuff to be a big branch is tucked away in these little cells here, waiting to be expanded with water and air and all the stuff that a tree needs to live. And so it's at its most dense in those areas, and so that is where it would be the darkest, the most concentration of color, and then to the outside, where it would be sort of catching the light, it's a little lighter because light, of course, makes things lighter. And there's still room there for one more color to darken it up with, and that's going to end up being probably the chocolate brown as just the the darkest of the dark in the contrasts. But this way you sort of layer it, and it's giving it more depth and more visual interest, and just sort of more substance, I think is the word. It's not just black coloring. It is it just like the dolls, that Cher's got. You want to try your best as as your talent allows, or as your practice level allows, to make it good, make it yours, make it the best that you can do. There's something that I was I does anybody know who Robert Reich is? Robert Reich. Was the economic advisor to Bill Clinton at the time of Bill Clinton's presidency. And unfortunately, he is, he's very much a tax the rich and kind of person. And I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says. I do agree with a lot of it, but not every little thing, but at any rate, he took exception to one of my favorite people in the world, and that is Ayn Rand. And when you start picking on Ayn Rand, that's fighting words to me, uh, because most people have got the philosophy of Ayn Rand wrong. They don't understand what it really was that she was trying to convey, and it had nothing to do with selfishness or greed. Absolutely nothing to do with that. What it did have to do with was the idea that you yourself, when you do something, if you set about being the best that you can be at doing that thing, or that, whatever it is that you attempt to do. And a case in point is this is the one of the main characters in it, or one of the characters in it, is a philosopher, and he quits his prestigious job of of giving really good advice, uh, and he goes and flips burgers. But they're the best burgers that you've ever eaten. They're perfect. They're perfectly cooked. They're, the lettuce is crisp. The tomato is sliced perfectly. The burger is cooked to your order. It's just good. And that is what she means. It's and for that, the reward is your own self-satisfaction. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not the world rewards you or not. But if the world demands that be less than you are, then that's a problem. That is a real, real problem. And we've got that problem in the United States of America. We expect too little from ourselves. And, it's what makes me want to smack every teenager with an attitude that I see and say, you know what? There's plenty of people that want this job since you seem to be so damn lazy at it. Sit there chewing gum and talking on your phone while you've got customers waiting in line. Anyway, so I engaged in a comment on his YouTube channel. So. Which I am not given to do. I am not given to generally comment on, political issues or anything like that. But I'm like, I object. Wait a minute, because you just have it absolutely wrong. Mostly, I'm just a live and let live kind of person. You're allowed to be however it is that you want to be. And if that's good enough for you, that's fine. But don't be surprised if I am not hanging out. All right. And so, all right. So obviously you get an idea of what I'm talking about as far as control, kind of this type of thing. And we could, obviously, there's enough leaves here to where we could sort of go on and on and on and on. Okay. All right. I don't think that's dry enough yet. Well, it might be. It might be dry enough to try the layer of the darkest of the darks. So let's try that. Just to be able to see what we can do. And that is going to be, they said chocolate, right? Which is, I don't think chocolate is right. I want to say oak. So let's go with oak. Now that's the leaf. And oak is always tough to find because it doesn't look like, it's a pencil that just doesn't look like I think it should look. Yeah, see, look at that color. It's not the color that you think it is. Okay. So now let's try this. Now, of course, I could and probably should do this in pencil. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing to stop you from doing the last of your detail work in pencil. And I think that in this particular case, that's what I'm going to do, because this is sort of a big, this is a big risk. But you sort of see what I mean, right? As far as just adding that last bit of dark in. And it does make a nice effect. And once again, not everywhere, just in the darkest hollows. It's like that last bit of magic. Okay. Corolla, thank you. Listening and watching in your bed now before going to sleep. You hope you don't have a nightmare later. About what? I hope you don't have any nightmares either. Don't have any nightmares. Okay, so that gives you just an idea of all of those types of things. And kind of an insight into the stuff that I sit here and think about. Of course, I spend way too many hours alone, so that could easily be why I think of weird stuff all the time. All right. Oh, we are looking good. I'm kind of getting happy with this. Okay, it is 3:19. We have about 45 minutes left. However, I do need to warm up my coffee. Would anybody, and this, by the way, is the last of the coffee. The tea is in addition to, but it's cold, and it's not in the thing that I can put it on the heater. So can I go warm it up for about 45 seconds, and I'll be right back? Please, please, please. And I'll be right back. Is that okay? I hope it is, because I'm going anyway. Bye. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry, that was 1:15. All right, I'm back. Watching before you go to sleep. Okay. All right, now, so we're off to a rousing start. Let's deepen some of these colors on the bird and see what we can get. This is the red oxide, which is something that I like. And I like this color very much. And I especially like it paired because now I can see all the places that I would like to have, made it a little bit darker, coming off of the shoulders. Absolutely. And under the chin. But also adding a little bit more, maybe as an undertone down here, which we can do now that we've already got these darker colors down here. It will brighten, this will just simply brighten that up a little bit. Because those undertones will still remain. Then I can use the baked earth. Oops. Let's see. Double check that focus. Is that about right? Or did I just put it out of focus? I hope that it's still in focus. Okay, so this is cascading down into this more orangish of tones, right? Which is the gives me an idea of how I want that to go. Okay. Pull that down. And I'm just stroking in one sort of direction and I'm not using a great deal of pressure, but I'm not being soft about it either. So sort of medium pressure, I guess. Actually laying down, this time, laying down pigment like I mean it. Okay. Once again, because the dark tones are already there, all this is going to do is just add richness and vibrancy to those colors. Okay. Because otherwise our bird is looking a little drab, and I don't want her to look totally drab. I want her to be a pretty girl. She's just a pretty girl in neutral tones. neutrals and golds and gorgeousness. Okay, so there's our tans. A little bit. Gonna come off of those. And then I want to grab that mustard, because you know that mustard is my favorite sort of shade. And I want to add a little more of that in here because I like that. The mustard is what results in that sort of golden tone. And I like that very much, as does the tan. The tan is also sort of the golden. But more the mustard. Okay. All right, let's see how we did there. Yeah, because there'll be one more layer of dark as well, but we're gonna add that last because I want to then I'll bring back the hard shadows. But this should and just work it lightly. You're not in any rush. Maybe pull a little. You don't want to blend it so that it's all, sort of monotone. So just blend in short strokes. And let the pigment soak into the work. And I'm just barely touching the surface with the brush of the pen or the brush. I can hear the cat in the living room knocking things off a shelf. It's like a never-ending battle. I keep putting it. Fortunately, there's nothing breakable, but nothing left that's breakable, I should say. She's broken everything else. She broke my heart when she broke she broke this beautiful hand-painted English porcelain plate it was antique that my sister had sent me two of, and I had finally gotten there were like this was like a bigger set, and so everybody in the family got a couple of them. And so as folks passed away, I gathered them together into the and remade the set. except the last one arrived, and I had it for a couple of years, and then the cat broke it, so oh well. She didn't do it intentionally. Okay. Yeah, I love how that makes those wings, or the wings. Yeah, wings. She's a bird, Christine. They're wings. Those wings so vibrant and rich looking. Which, of course, is not how a partridge looks in real life, but this is Jane F. Hankins' world, and it can look wherever the way I want it to. There we go. Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. Cats are calculating. Yeah, she probably did, but I'm sure she didn't. Ooh, instant pot, Mississippi pot roast, mashed potatoes with gravy, and buttered carrots. Mona, I'm coming to your house. Oh my goodness. Yum. That sounds so good. I have just eaten pizza for a week. I actually took my grocery budget and had two pizzas delivered. I put them both in the freezer, and then of course I'm a big believer in just break it off, throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and eat the meal and go. Fortunately, I happen to love pizza, and I'm lazy enough to not have wanted to cook all week, so I just didn't. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Hey, I like it. Now I feel like we need to add, I don't know, we need to add something, gold balls or, and I may yet do that. I may add, I may go through and actually add at some point in time, I don't know, sort of dots or highlights or, whatever. Whoops, sorry, with the gold, but something sparkly. Okay. I need to work on that, but I want to do something else to sort of be interesting. Or do you want me to continue working on it? Just shut up. You guys get to decide, because I can do either. Oops. Yeah, the iron green. Hi, Della, and hello, everybody. Wow. Hello, everybody. So this is welcome to CLAldridgeArt. And hang on, if you are new here, welcome. Okay, let's make sure that I've got good focus going on again. Move that over. Come on. Okay, take it out of focus, then into focus. Okay. And all right, there's the good reflection. Okay. So on to the hooker's green. I'm just going to continue. I continue on. Okay, so this is the hooker's green once again. And then oh wait, that's the hooker's. Yeah, okay. So that's wait, I fooled myself. Okay, so that's the hookers, and that is the beach. This is what happens when I stop paying attention for a second. Now you could, all right, if I wanted to color, let's say I wanted some of these to be a little more, I don't know, maybe a little more new leafish like these, then I could use this lighter apple green, right, out here on the tips, and then pull down the hookers for the, now of course hooker's green is named for, I think, the guy who created it. I'm not the typical thought of the use of that word these days. But see, so then it's maybe new leaves, but you can just add another layer of sort of contrasting idea to your tree, like maybe coloring some of your new leaves lighter than the old, about to fall off leaves kind of thing. But then at what point in time do you stop doing that? So this is the low iron on the outside. Okay, so it can maybe be all that, and then try some hooker's green out there at the tip, and there as well. And then the beach. Is that the beach? Yeah. Here. And there, so that once again, I'm tapping off on my little piece of toilet paper. It's pretty funny. I have a roll of it in here because I ran out of paper towels, so. And it works just fine. Okay. Yeah. So once again, and you just, add the different colors in. You can see that these are starting to dry. So, like maybe this one's pretty uninteresting, kind of boring. So I could add a little bit of the apple green into that one and that one, and just sort of brighten them up a bit, because otherwise that is such a dull color. And Inktense does dull up. When it dries, it gets really dull. And the only way to just sort of change that up is to saturate the color. And that's, that is what they're for. So that's why I like to work with layers, with Inktense. So, all right, let's see. Let's go with the oak. And what did we do? We did that already. Okay. I want to come up over the back of that. This is just a last little bit of, and maybe not. Okay, let's stop with that because I want to be able to demonstrate how to do that with pencil. And I think that would be a much safer, well, I don't know. I really kind of like the way it looks with the Inktense, so let's try it. Well, I can, yeah. All right, so this is the oak. Sorry. My internal thought processes. Okay, so here we go again with sort of the darkness. And this time it is, the color that I'm using is oak, but it's not really a, I don't really think of it as an oak, certainly not an oak tree color. It's more just a, I like it for shade, for the shady backside of the tree. Thank you, Corolla. And how is Kitty? She is, well, she is fighting a battle right now, that's for sure. We've got an outbreak of fleas, and no matter what I do, I cannot seem to get rid of them. And I don't want to about poison the poor thing to death with, internal and external and poisons. Trying to get her some relief. We're up to brushing her 3 times a day, so that is helping. That it seems to really be the best solution, beside, of course, vacuuming constantly. The problem is I can't figure out why they're coming in. How are they getting in? It's not like she goes outside. So they've got to be breeding in here somewhere. And that is upsetting. That is seriously upsetting as well, because it means there's some place that I'm not hitting with the vacuum. So, and my go-to idea is the vents, and I don't even want to deal with that. I mean, that would mean, because the problem, of course, is with COVID-19, you really don't want to let vent cleaners into your house either. So we're sort of limping through, but she's losing weight, and that has got me a little concerned. So that's how she is. Fortunately, she's eating and drinking, so And throwing up a lot of air balls, that's for sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. That worked. I like that quite a bit. So now let's do maybe a little bit of new leaf. Although that shouldn't be new leaf because that's got a fruit hanging on it, and that is the part that's going to come off with the fruit when it comes off the tree. So let's think about that as well as you're coloring your leaves. How mature are they? At least I think about that. A pan of soapy water on the floor under a bright light at night. The possum could be the culprit. Yeah, but the possum got out of the house. I mean, you know, he may still be in the attic. Heck, I don't know. He got out of the house when I caught him in the box and took him outside. There, for the people here who might not have heard the possum story. Oh my goodness. It was pretty funny. Is there anybody who hasn't heard the possum story? How I had a possum get in. It came in through my furnace, actually. Well, it came in through the attic, and then it fell from the attic through, where the furnace vent goes up. And it landed in the furnace room. And I kept hearing this scratching, and which isn't unusual with a cat. And oops, sorry, I'm confused. I'm confused on which pen to use, pencil. Got too many pencils in my hand. Anyway, so it got in the furnace closet, and so I didn't have any. The cat. I tried the cat carrier, but the cat carrier is too big to get in the furnace closet. So I ended up having to use this paper box, the cardboard box, and it was it was a contest one night to see which of us could surprise each other. The worst, me or the possum, but I finally won. Fourth time I think, that I opened the closet door. It was actually tail out inside the box trying to get the peanut butter or the cat food that I put inside. So I tipped the box up and slammed the lid on it and took it out the front door and let the thing go. But it was pretty hilarious. Touch it? You want me to touch it? In the meantime, I'm frantically on YouTube looking up, are possums vicious, or will it charge me if I open the closet door? That type of thing. But do they bite? That's a big one. And the answer to that question is no, not usually, but like any other trapped animal, of course, it would quite likely bite you if you got stupid about it. Okay, so now let's do some more let's do some more of this. All right, let's do some more of these. That's the apple, is that right? Okay. All right, this is the sienna gold. Over here. And then I want to just take the apple green around the back side where this would not be ripe at all. All right, and start out in the center. Make that same circle. And then sort of go around the outside. Now these do require far more than one layer. So at least the previous two that I did definitely do. Oh, okay. But that's a good start on that one. So what I did is I just determined where the light source was probably coming from, right? And Jane has done a lot by, sort of like right there, it would be the reflection point, that circle. And so you can just color the rest of that in this lighter yellow. And then I've got the sienna gold, which is more of a rich sun yellow. And it's this one right here. And so I use that around the outer sort of reaches of this. Not quite all the way to the edge, but, right around in there, sort of leaving out that bit of yellow space, still just white. And then I can take the green, the apple green, and add in just a bit around the outside back edge, which is the furthest away from whatever that light source is that's hitting that. So, charge you, you should have charged it for room and board. It was just a baby. It was so cute. It really was. I probably would have, if I knew more about possums, I quite possibly would have reached in and just grabbed it. But as it stands, it was good that it just got in the box and tried to eat the cat food. And, it was surprised when it got closed in the box and it scampered away outside on the lawn. Man, those things can move pretty fast, though. I had no idea that they could move that quickly until I saw that one. But it was down and it went into the sewer pipe, which I always think is weird. I guess they must, it's not sewer pipe, it's storm drain pipe. Because the storm drains run all, of course, through that area. So I always wonder how they must be able to climb the ladder. Obviously, if they can climb your house, and, climb trees and things like that. They could probably climb a ladder. Um, so I'm assuming that must be how they get in and out of there. But I've seen all kinds of things come in and out of there. Raccoons. I've got a family of bunnies that live in my front yard. I suspect that they've got a warren under the house, and that may be where the police come from. Because we go through this every year, but this year it's been especially bad. And this is the first time that I haven't been able to get rid of them, in multiple tries. So now I do have, it's not like it's a blah, 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 blah. It's not like I'm unfamiliar with pest control services. I use them, but of course, like everything else, until, knock on wood, May, when I once again have a regular income I can count on, then I can start all those things back up. But like everything else, it sort of went into the non-essentials pile. All right, I do believe that it is right around 4 o'clock. Oh, and I just want to offer everybody just a little bit of an apology. I didn't mean to sort of like lose it on y'all and leave you on a negative note last week. I was just sad with that news, but on the brighter side, this week, my friend, who some of you may know, is fighting a battle with cancer. His name is Bob. He dropped me a note the other day. Now, it is cryptic. It was unsigned. And so, I'm hoping that it was not one of those things that, got sent if you didn't go, push the button to say unsend it. But I can say he's alive. And so that's good. It basically said, "Silly girl, don't you know that if I knew it was over, I would call to say goodbye." I was going to say, well, if you knew it was over, you wouldn't be able to call and say goodbye. You don't want to point out the obvious at that point. So that is good news, and I'll take the win and just be satisfied. Yeah, they'll start dying off as it gets cold enough, and that's the key to it right there. Is winter. Last winter, we hardly had winter. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was the trees were already budding out in early February. So it's like, and that could be why they're so bad this year, because we just didn't have winter last year. All right. So this is where we are now. Now, it doesn't look like we've made, one heck of a lot of, let's go with the autofocus this time. There we go. It doesn't look like we made a lot of progress, but indeed we have, because, we've got quite a bit of detail done, and we're going to need to add some stuff to her eyes. Like, I don't have a Posca pen, but I do have some white ink that I can do this with. Um, and I do have a white gel pen somewhere here that I could also try this with to add the little dots in for the eyes, the little highlights in for the eyes. So don't worry, there will be sparkle in her eyes. And, having shown you a little bit about, keep layering for depth. Always keep layering because there's always, remember that contrast and you just can't say it enough. There needs to be dark between these two layers of feathers right here. And I need to put that in because that is where your depth comes from. Your depth comes from the contrasts between your lights and your darks at certain points on your pictures. So it's always important that you do have those darks and lights in. If what you're after is creating a more, a more nuanced, a more depthful, a deeper layered type look in your coloring. Once again, no issues at all with just straight coloring, straight flat coloring, and then using maybe a Posca pen or a gel pen to do fun little highlights or, little curly cues or something along those lines. Whatever coloring you like, whatever coloring style suits you, that is what you should be pursuing. Don't try to be somebody else. Be you, and it's going to be perfect, right? So, on that note, until we meet again, everybody, what are you going to do? Next week, you're going to color something pretty. And hopefully, it will be something of mine, or maybe even something of Susan's, or something of Jane's, or something of Laura's, or Kelly's, or Christine's, or Christina, or anybody other, anybody else. All of the artists who create for you love to do it. So until we meet again, bye. Thank you for coming and for being here.